Stories for the young and the young at heart. I'm a last minute guy. So I got up this morning getting ready for breakfast. I'm looking out the window going, Lord, I need a story for this morning that speaks to both the young and the old. And out of the corner of my eye, I see a little flash behind a bush. Well, what's that? You know, you got squirrels, all kind of stuff. Well, it was a juvenile robin. It was bobbing behind a bush. And it's sitting there looking for worms. And it had to have been this year's stock. You know what I'm talking about. Juvenile robin, fresh this year. And it was out there doing its thing. Did you know, useless fact, that robins listen for worms? They hear them. So here's this young robin with no real wisdom or experience in it. It's probably 3 months old, 4 months old. And it's doing its thing and finding worms. And then I'm reminded, the Lord provides. The Lord provides. We can be born into a world, raised into a world, knowing that with divine intention, the Lord will provide. The challenge for us is we got sucked into this racket of capitalism. And I'm not knocking it because, man, I'm there. We get sucked into this Christmas shopping list, this Santa list of things we want to do in our life, when really all we have to sit back is listen. The Lord's given us the worms. And in our story this morning, we're going to be talking about Abram, who became Abraham. And does anybody remember the story? What do you remember about Abraham? What's if I said, who's Abraham? What do you remember? What's the big stories around Abraham? Pardon? Father of nations, but more often we remember his test. Abraham, stick your kid up in the altar and kill him on my behalf. Do you remember that story? For the most part, that's all we remember about Abraham is, okay, he listened, the Lord was going to do it. The Lord saved the kid. Everything's fine. The Lord promised him 3 things. Anybody remember what they were? Land, nation, and blessings. But Abraham was a badass. If we really look back a few chapters before, we're at the point when, if you remember the beginning of Genesis, everything goes for a crap. God creates this beautiful earth. Adam and Eve, well, they didn't do so well. Then they had kids. Cain didn't do so well. Cain's descendants didn't do so well. And then you get to the point of the story of Noah, and it's like, I'm just wiping you all out. But God said, no, I'll do a covenant with you. I'll make sure things carry on. I won't kill you all. And that's where Abraham steps in. God comes into Abraham and says, Abraham, leave your family here in Egypt and go to Canaan. And Abraham goes, all right. But he didn't quite do as he was told. He took his father and his nephew. Who was his nephew? Anybody remember? Lot. Lot wasn't always I always say a shed full of tools, if you know what I mean. So, Abram at the time grabs Lot, his dad, and heads off to Canaan. But he kind of stops halfway through, and his dad dies. Abraham's going, I don't know what I'm going to do. God says, come on, I need you, brother. I need you. Get to Canaan. I promise you land, nations, and blessings. And he does. He takes Lot, which is still like, I told you to come alone. All right, if you got to bring him. He gets to Canaan, and he was a wealthy dude. Abram was a wealthy man. So much so that when, if you remember, we're going to be talking a bit about Lot and the Sodom and Gomorrah. We all know kind of Sodom and Gomorrah is a horrible place at the time. But it was a kingdom, those two, and 5 kingdoms fought 5 kingdoms. And originally, 5 kingdoms overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and 3 others and took Lot as a prisoner. Abraham. Anybody here 75 years or older? Here? So Abraham's about 80 years old now. He came to Canaan when he was 75. And Lot's been taken. He gets word that Lot has been taken. So he gets an army together. He leads an army at 80 years old into battle. Grabs Lot back, grabs some of the treasures of Sodom and Gomorrah, the 2 kingdoms, rescues everybody in the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah. They're there splitting up, all the material things. And, And Abram says, no, I'm not taking anything. I just want the guys I brought with me. That's it. I don't want anyone saying the Lord made me rich. All right, so Abram comes out, and the Lord says, you know what? I promised you some land, I promised you nations, I promised you blessings, but you're going to need a kid. So at 80 years old, get ready, you're going to have a son. All right, he kind of laughs it off. God kind of laughs with him. Then about a year later, 3 men show up at his tent. Remember, we're in the desert. The desert lifestyle was living in tents, kind of Bedouin style. 3 strangers approach, and the hospitality of the desert is whether they're your enemy or your friend, you're going to invite them in and look after them. Even if they're your enemy, you will protect them with your life. You will give up your life to save them. So the 3 men come. Abram goes to his wife. Anybody remember Abram's wife at the time? Not yet. Sarai. Excuse me. So then one of the strangers, Abram goes, wow, you're God. Yep, these are my angels. We're heading off to Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm there to see what's going on for myself, and we'll probably end up destroying it. But my nephew's there. All right, and this is where we step in today's scriptures, because Abraham negotiates with God. And this is the timeline. Right now, we need to know that we're in the desert in Abram's tent city. 3 strangers have approached. One of them is God, 2 angels. They're on their way.